What's up, Kings? Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm very excited because I have in my hands a Karma Airguns 2025 Spec Red Panda PRS version. So this is going to be Karma Airguns' entry into the kind of NRL22 or positional shooting world. And that is a world that I am very familiar with because I am one of the top ranked NRL22 airgun shooters in the world. And I shoot, I don't know, 2 to 3 matches at least a month. So I know a little bit about NRL22 from an airgun perspective, and I really want to dive into this thing and see what it's all about. And that's obviously why you're here. So what we're going to do is a series of videos on this thing. Today, I'm going to unbox this thing for you, and we're going to take a look at it at a very close-up and detailed level. I always, when I buy something very expensive, I always try to seek out those videos that are showing very close-up details and a lot of close-up shots of the product because I want to totally understand it and see what I'm getting. So I'm going to try my best to give you guys that today with a little bit of commentary from my side perhaps as well. So that's going to be video number 1. Video number 2, once I get this thing kind of dialed in and find out what ammo it likes, we'll do the typical review out there at various different distances and just kind of see what kind of accuracy we can get from the bench. And then as a third video, I'm going to take this to a match and shoot an NRL22 match with it and just kind of give you my opinion on it after the match and maybe even during the match to see how well I do and to see kind of my general opinion on how this thing is as a PRS or an NRL22 airgun. So that's kind of my plan. What we'll do now is I'm going to take this thing out in the brightest light I can find and we'll do the unboxing and I'll show you the gun as close up as possible here so you guys can kind of get a flavor for it, what it looks like up close, take a look at some of the features. Now, granted, I have not read the manual. I'm so excited at this point that I'm immediately doing a video on it. So I may not know everything about the rifle. In time, I will, but we'll do the best we can for now and give you guys a look at this thing up close. I've tried to get this out in the middle of the yard because it is the best, most brightest sunlight I have. So let's just go ahead and do the unboxing together. We'll show you what you get in here. So there she is, fresh as fresh can be. So you do have a quick start guide here and it's got some QR codes on there, which you can then use to go ahead and view the different videos on how to do stuff. So I still need to do that. I'm going to check all that out later and learn as much as I can about this thing. You also just have your typical kind of warning, don't be an idiot paperwork there as well. So I'll tuck those over there so they don't blow away. The gun itself, let's get the close-up. So we can see it looks like it has an adjustable stock and bag rider. There's the fill there. We've got 2 tanks at the back, okay? Adjustable cheek piece there. Here's your second regulator. It is a dual regulated gun. Here's the corresponding gauge for that second regulator. All right. It does come with 2 magazines. And then you've got a couple of things in here. You've got, I don't know why, but some zip ties. Maybe that will become relevant. And what this is a plug so that you can remove this bottom tank and plug it. And for an NRL22 shooter, that's probably what you're going to want to do because I'm hearing reports that these are back heavy with these both cylinders attached. These are very thick-walled aluminum because they're 4,500 PSI. So removing one of those is going to relieve a lot of weight off of the back there and then move your balance point forward. So let's see. The magazines here are pretty neat. They're super deep. So the largest of the longest slugs that you can find are going to fit in this magazine. Looks like there's a little ball detent there, and that's, I imagine, how it clicks into the rifle. If we open this up, trying to do it with one hand here, guys. Please hold. So that's with the cover off. It looks like these hold 18, and I noticed something here where, I don't know if you can see, but that last slot is a blocker. So that'll block the pin probe, which is exactly what you want in PRS because sometimes you have to do a mag change. And by not being able to cycle your bolt forward, that's going to tell you if you forgot to do your mag change. So pretty cool. Comes with 2 mags. So that should be good enough to just get it right out of the box and shoot a match. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use my bag there and I'll get this thing out of the box and we'll take a even closer look at it once it's out. All right, so there it is out of the box. We'll take a close look here because I know that's what you guys want to see. All right, so we've got our air tubes. Like I said, I'll remove that one. We've got our regulator 2 there, externally adjustable. I can't see where to adjust the first reg. It might be an internally adjustable deal, so I'll have to do some research on that. I know that this is your hammer adjustment. You just stick an Allen key in there and you can ratchet the different hammer settings, and this will show you where you're at on the hammer. Kind of neat that they put a bubble level in there. The scope rail does have 30 MOA of cant already in it. And then we've got the charging handle here. It is a dual O-ringed pin probe, if you can see that there. It looks like they've got some kind of lock on here that I guess locks up the action or something. I haven't messed with it. I'll need to read up on that. But interesting. And you've got 3 regs on this thing. So here's the operating pressure of the gun. That is reg 2 right there. And then let me pop this thing around. We've got your reg 1 and your fill gauge under here, still so new it's got the plastic on it. So you've got 3 gauges to monitor the various aspects of your gun. It does have a match trigger, and it does come with that Saber Tactical grip on there, which is pretty cool. It does look like you can swap the charging handle from the left to right, because I see the magnetic hold point, and that's the same on the other side. So it looks like it is ambidextrous, which is pretty cool. And then here's the rail up front. So we've got some ARCA rail section on the bottom, goes back to about here. And then we've got some M-LOK here as well. And then on the top, you do have Picatinny up here too. So if you wanted to mount something additional up there, you could. It has a super, super thick barrel and also 2 air chambers here. These, I believe, are 200cc each. One of them is the plenum for the gun. The other one is just onboard air. Now, going back to the barrel, I think these have like a 17.7 twist rate. And the only thing that I will say is I don't know why they made this threaded for 18 M18 threads. I really wish it was 1/2x20, so I had to get an adapter to run a moderator because I can't be shooting out here with this with no moderator. These guns, I just saw some in competition last weekend, and they're very loud with no moderator. So I saw one of the guys from the pellet shop, I believe, who had one of these, and he was running it with no moderator, and it was very loud. But let me reposition this here. We'll get a better look at those tubes. All right, so there you can see those tubes, one being the 200cc plenum and the other being an air tube. And the overall gun, I weighted on an old school, like mechanical scale, and without an optic or anything, just as it is right there with both of the rear tubes on there, it weighed 17 pounds. And you might think, if you're not used to positional shooting, wow, that's a super heavy gun. Yeah, guys, this isn't a gun that you're going to lug through the forest and hunt critters with. This is a gun for competition, and it should be heavy like that. So, you know, I don't even know if I'm going to have to add additional weights on this thing. We'll take a look at the balance point here in a second and see what it's like. Actually, you know what? That doesn't even matter because I'm going to remove that rear cylinder. So I'll take a look at the balance point afterwards, maybe in the next video. But let's see what else we can see here on this thing. So that's what the bottom looks like. It is definitely a thick boy, about 3 inches wide. So when I was thinking about that, I'm like, man, that's really wide. But, you know, you might not even need a flat bag or like a, you know, a flat ARCA on here attachment, because it's wide enough here where you're going to get a nice settled feeling on a bag. And then down here, I believe that's the degasser. I'm not sure at this point to degas the gun, so I've got some reading to do. It's got a cross bolt safety on it, which I actually like that because it's very easy to access. You do have a transfer port adjustment here. It's set to max, which is probably what you're going to want for this type of shooting. And yeah, so overall, pretty impressive list of features on this guy, and the machining on it looks pretty good, and the anodizing looks pretty good. It's super dark black, and you know, the form and function of it seems to be all there. It is quite a bit taller from like the scope rail to the bottom here than the guns I'm used to for PRS. So we'll see how I like that. I just hope I can fit it into barriers and everything, like ladders and chair backs and stuff. But I think I'm going to like this thing. It is definitely a beastly gun with quite a bit of thinking went into this for sure. So I'm excited to get it out and actually do some shooting with it. But I wanted to give you guys a real close look at the entire gun, because if you're, you know, debating buying this, you probably want to see this stuff, and you probably want to see exactly what it looks like close up before you buy something that's, you know, retailing for about $2,400. So that's really the goal here, is just to kind of show you guys that. We'll put it back down here. So there you have it. The Karma Red Panda PRS. Now this thing is supposed to be able to chuck like 40 grain slugs at like 1050. So from what I'm hearing, this thing has major power, and to be able to chuck heavy slugs, and now that we have like the Zon ELR slugs coming out, which are 42.3 grains, to be able to chuck big heavy stuff real fast is going to definitely put you right up in the same performance category as an actual 22 rimfire firearm. So I dig that for sure, and I'm excited to try to shoot some of my heavier stuff with this. Not a bad fit and finish on this thing for sure. So I'm excited to get it out. We'll see how it does with me behind the trigger once I get it all kitted with an optic and everything like that. All right, King. So that is more of kind of just a teaser video about this thing. I was excited because I just received it the other day, so I figured I'd at least get a video out kind of showing it close up, because at least in my personal preference, I like to look at, you know, new gear close up with some close camera angles and stuff to look at the features before I buy something, especially in this price range. But, you know, with my knowledge and everything and experience with positional shooting, I think I'm about the perfect guy to kind of give you my feedback on this. And I will give you exactly my honest feedback on it, good or bad, once we do the review on it and I actually start trying to use it in competition. But it's cool to see that a lot of these manufacturers are now producing rifles specifically for NRL22 or positional shooting, which is exactly what I do. So I appreciate that. And I think they definitely have something quite unique and interesting here. And this rifle is just a beast. I put it on a bag, and it just sits there. So once I add a couple more pounds with an optic and remove this, I'm sure it's going to be pretty well balanced. That's how it balances right now, right out of the box. But yeah, man, I'm excited to check this out. So we'll do a review on it, do accuracy at like 50, 100, and then ping the 150-yard plate out there. And that's all the distance I really have. And then where the true pedigree will come into our focal point is using it at a match. So stay tuned for all that stuff, guys. I'll try to get this going as quick as I can, and we will catch you on the next one. Hope this was helpful. Peace.